to my channel. So today's video is going to be the long-awaited birth story. I've been meaning to film this video for a while. I've just been, you know, adjusting to new mom life and trying to figure out his schedule. So I think he doesn't really have a schedule, but just figuring out if I'm able to like sit down and film while he's napping and stuff. So that's what he's doing right now. Fingers crossed he stays asleep. But anyways, I'm just gonna go ahead and get right into it. So I started feeling contractions on September 30th. That was 2 days past my due date. It was in the middle of the night and I was feeling like these cramping feelings. I wasn't really sure if they were contractions or not, or if it was just all in my head, because I had been feeling like cramps, or like I thought maybe they were Braxton Hicks too. So I was like kind of like in disbelief, but then they started to get stronger and more frequent. So then that's when I started to time them. I believe I started timing them around 4 a.m. and I actually like sat up and was like timing them and like actually paying attention to them to see if they were like contractions, because I was like, I don't know, and they were. So around 6 o'clock, after like timing them for a while and being like, okay, they're consistent, and like they were about like 10 minutes apart at that time. And so I got up, I went out to the living room and I was like, Mom, I think I'm going into labor. And she was like, oh my gosh, it's the day. And the night before, we had gone on a walk, a really long walk around the neighborhood to get my labor going. And we were like, during the walk, we were like, hopefully this is it. Hopefully I wake up tomorrow with contractions and we get to go to the hospital. And that's exactly what happened. So I decided to get ready after telling my mom. I was like, I'm gonna go shower and get ready just in case we do have to go to the hospital. So then after showering and getting ready, I called labor and delivery and told them that we were heading over there. And I also I texted my doctor and told her that we were gonna be heading over there. And so then we went over. I just remember my contractions, like they were just like cramps at the time. And then I was getting ready, I was doing my hair, and they were getting stronger. And then before we left for the hospital, I remember like sitting in the kitchen trying to eat something, and like I just couldn't eat because of my contractions. They weren't that painful, but like they were uncomfortable, and I was feeling them in my back because I did have back labor. So we got to the hospital and we went up to labor and delivery. They put us in triage and they started monitoring me, and she checked my cervix and she said that I was only 2 centimeters dilated, so I wasn't in active labor. My contractions were consistently coming 5 minutes apart, and I was also, she said my cervix wasn't hard, it felt soft. So she was like, you'll probably dilate like soon, you know, like just go for a walk or whatever. And then she said I had a sunny side up baby, which means he was head down, but his head was facing the ceiling rather than the floor, which is the ideal position for labor. And he hadn't dropped yet, so that's why my cervix wasn't dilating as quickly. I was dilating because of the contractions, but I wasn't dilating quickly because he wasn't putting that pressure on my cervix. So they were getting ready to release me, and another nurse came in. Oh, there's Kason. Hold on. Okay, someone woke up and he didn't wake up too happy, so we'll see how long I can do this. Okay, anyways, let me continue. So they were getting ready to release me, and another nurse came in and told me, she was basically going over everything, like saying why they were going to release me and whatnot. And then all of a sudden there was a dip in one of the monitors, and so she was like, maybe not actually. So she was like, actually maybe we won't release you. She's like, because you see this dip, she's like, that means that the cord is wrapping around him somewhere. And she's like, so typically when we see that, we'll either keep you or we'll monitor you a little bit longer just to see if it happens again, or if it was just like a one-time thing. But yeah, like as soon as she said that she was gonna release me, that dip happened. And so she was like, oh, he didn't like that, he doesn't want to go home. So then they were like, ultimately it's up to your doctor if she wants to send you home or keep you. So I'm assuming my doctor wanted to keep me because we stayed, and they admitted me to our room, or admitted me to labor and delivery and got us a room. And so we got to our room, and by the time we got to our room, it wasn't long either between being in triage and getting our room. It was maybe 30 minutes, and my contractions had gotten a lot worse. And like I said, he wasn't in the ideal position, and so his head, his head was pressing up against my spine, so that's why I was having back labor. And so I just was having the worst back contractions, and I was like, I need medication like really bad. So they came and gave me like some kind of like pain medication just to see if that would help a little bit, and then it just really wasn't. And it also like made me like really out of it and loopy, so I didn't like that. But yeah, I could still feel it, and you guys can see in the vlog where I was trying to vlog and then I had to like stop, and I was like, whoa, like that was before the epidural. And so then I was like, I want the epidural. Like they were like, do you want to wait for the epidural? Like, do you want to eat? Because I hadn't eaten anything. And they're like, or do you want to get the epidural? They're like, once you get the epidural, you can't eat. So I was like, you know what? I want the epidural. I don't care if I like can't eat. I want the epidural. And I had no idea how long I was going to be in labor for, but I didn't care. I was like, give me that epidural. So I ended up getting that. And I think I mentioned it in the vlog too. The anesthesiologist was kind of rude. Like, not gonna lie, she was a little bit like snarky, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, she was a little rude. Anyways, besides the point. So I got the epidural, and after that everything was smooth sailing. So after the epidural, my doctor came in at some point and checked my cervix, and I think I was at 4 centimeters, and they were gonna see if they could break my water. And so she was checking to see if like they were gonna be able to break my water with the little thing that they use. And when she was doing that, she actually broke my water like with her hand, or it just broke on its own. Like it was just an easy break. And she was like, oh, just kidding, like I guess we don't have to like forcefully break it. And so I was like, oh cool. And like I could hear my water breaking. It was so weird. It was like this gush, and like I could feel it too. It was just like a gush of water. And actually a really funny thing happened after that. So when she took her hand out and like she was taking her glove off, she flung the glove, like she like took the glove off and it like flung, and Jacob was sitting on the side, and it actually flung my water onto him. He was wearing his mask and it hit his mask. He felt it hit. He was like, what the heck? And he was like, oh, that was her water. So that was really funny, and the doctor didn't even realize that she had done that. So I didn't even realize until they left the room and Jacob had told me, and it made me laugh so hard. I was like, please don't make me laugh right now. Like there's so much pressure. Like I wasn't feeling pain. I was just feeling pressure, and I was like, don't make me laugh right now. Like I feel like I'm gonna like push him out right now if I laugh. Then after that, they also were going to try to put me on Pitocin. Before that, they were like, well, we're gonna see if maybe we can put you on Pitocin to like get you going. But then when they came in and saw that I was 4 centimeters, they were like, okay, maybe not. And then they broke my water, and they're like, so that should help things progress quicker. And then they came back and checked me, and I believe I was at a 6. And I had the shakes so bad from the epidural. You guys saw in the video, I was shaking like crazy. So basically we just waited and waited and waited until I got to 10 centimeters. Nothing really crazy happened in between that. I just, you know, I went from like 6 to 10, I think, quickly. I don't know. And so I was at 10 centimeters, and they're like, all right, like it's time to push. And so you guys saw me push in the vlog. I pushed for, I think it was 14 minutes, 12 or 14 minutes, one of those. And I pushed him out, and I had no idea how big of a baby he was going to be because they never told me at any of my appointments. They never measured him or anything. The last ultrasound that I had was at 19 weeks, and he was like 11 ounces. So that's the last thing I knew for measurement of him. And so I was like, I don't know how big of a baby he's going to be. Jacob was a big baby. He was 11 pounds. I was 6 pounds. So I was like, I don't know how big he's gonna be, and he came out and he was 8 pounds 6 ounces. Also, when I was in triage, they made me take a COVID test. It's just like a thing that they're doing for everyone, and it's only the mom that has to take it. Like, dad doesn't have to take it, which I think is weird because like he's gonna be in the room too, so I don't know, but I had to take a COVID test. It was negative, of course, so yeah. Anyways, after having him, they stitched me up. I only had a 2nd-degree tear, and then so then when they were all done with everything and they took the epidural off and everything, they were like, okay, do you want to see if you can get up to go to the bathroom? And I was like, okay, sure. And she's like, lift both your legs up for me without bending your knees. And I tried and I couldn't because the epidural still hadn't worn off yet. So they were like, okay, we'll come back later and do it. Also, another thing I totally forgot, during my labor they had me, because he was OP, and sunny side up is what she called it, they had me going in all different positions and like using the peanut ball to like kind of move him and see if he would flip. I'm not sure if he did, they never told me if he flipped or not, but they had me like on my side, and then they'd come back in like an hour and put me on my other side, and then they'd like have me sitting up, they'd have me like kind of on my side, kind of on my other side. And when they would put me like all the way on my side, so like they had to move me, of course, because I couldn't feel anything in my legs, but when they would put me all the way onto one side, my epidural would wear off on the side I wasn't laying on. So it was all on my left side at one point, and I was like, I can feel contractions on like half of my back. And she was like, oh, okay, like let's move you. So then they would move me, and then it would even it out a little bit for a while, and then it would come back and like it would start to wear off on one side. And so yeah, it was just a little annoying, but it wasn't too bad. And also, before I started pushing, like when they were like, oh yeah, you're like at a 10 now, I was like, yeah, I feel like a lot of pressure, like I feel like I'm gonna poop. Like I legit felt like I was gonna poop. I asked Jacob if I pooped, he said I didn't, so I don't know. I could have sworn I did. I felt like I did, but I guess I didn't. Also, in the vlog, you guys don't see him like coming out, like you see me pushing and then all of a sudden he's just on my chest. And that's because I didn't know how long I was going to be pushing for. I thought I was going to be pushing for like 30 minutes. So I had Jacob stop the camera because it was at like 10 minutes. And I was like, oh, just stop it. And then like start it again in a little bit. And they're like, okay, just give me one more push, or like a little push. And I was like, okay. And I did a little push and he was out. And I was like, oh. And I was like, start the camera, start the camera. So yeah, I didn't get him like coming out right away, which I wish I would have. But it's okay. Anyways, back to getting up to go to the bathroom. So they got me up to go to the bathroom eventually, and the nurse helps you, and they like walk in there with you, and I'm pretty sure they stay in there with you just because people pass out. And that's exactly what happened to me. I ended up passing out. Also, sorry if I'm like moving a lot. I'm trying to rock him because he's like sleeping. He wasn't done with his nap. He just kind of needs a little bit of help getting back to sleep. So like I said, she went to the bathroom with me, and I was sitting there and I told her, I was like, hey, I feel a little like out of breath, like I can't catch my breath. And she was like, what do you mean? And oh, and prior to that they had given me, I think, fentanyl, because after they stitched me up and the epidural wore off, I was still contracting because your uterus contracts to go back to normal, and so I was feeling those contractions and they were painful, so they gave me fentanyl, and I don't know if that's what did it, but like yeah. So I got up and I was sitting there and I was like, I feel like I can't catch my breath. And she's like, what do you mean, like is it asthma? Because I have asthma. And she's like, is it asthma? Like what, like describe it to me. And I was like, I don't know, I just feel like I can't like let all my breath out or something. I was like, maybe it's asthma, I don't know. And she's like, do you have an inhaler? And I was like, yeah, it's in my hospital bag. And she's like, okay. And that's all I remember saying. And then I remember waking up to like 5 nurses in the bathroom with me, like, breathe, like open your eyes, sweetie, like look up, breathe this in. Like they were waving pneumonia in front of me and telling me to breathe it in. And they were like, look up, like open your eyes, look up, don't put your head down. And I was just like, what is going on? I had passed out. I felt it in my face too. Like I was pale. And I felt like, you know, like I felt like I had no color. I felt so weird. And I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck happened? And poor Jacob was like out there with the baby, and he just sees all these nurses rushing in, and he's like, what's going on? He thought I was like dying. And so then they wheeled me back over to the bed and like cleaned me up and everything. And Jacob was like, what happened? I was like, I passed out. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I feel like my labor story isn't anything like crazy. It's just pretty basic. I feel like I didn't have like an intense labor story. Like there weren't really any complications. And yeah, oh, also I was at the hospital. Like I said, we got there on the 30th of September, and he was born at 2 in the morning, October 1st. So we were at the hospital for that whole day until he decided to make his appearance, and then we had to stay an additional 2 days. I think it's just this hospital's policy for first-time moms. You have to stay 48 hours. So we were at the hospital for like 3 days, and it was so much fun. Not really. But I can't think of anything else. I really should have written down like everything because I'm kind of forgetting stuff, and that's my fault. But if you guys have any questions about labor, or like, I feel like I talked about everything. I don't know. I know there's a couple of things postpartum wise that I want to tell you that like people don't really talk about, or I don't remember if there was something about labor that people don't really talk about, but I don't know. If you have any questions at all, leave them down below. I will answer them for you guys, either in the comments or in another vlog, like in my postpartum vlog. Which also, if you guys have any questions about postpartum or breastfeeding, leave those questions down below because I'm going to be filming that as well. So yeah, but I think that's it for my birth story. Like I said, if I missed anything, I'll probably include it in my postpartum vlog, so make sure you guys are subscribed if you want to see that. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful for you guys. If you guys are about to have a baby, good luck. And it's not as scary as it seems. I was terrified. I mean, I did have the epidural, so I didn't really feel it. I guess if you don't have the epidural, I don't know how that feels. I hope I never have to feel that. I don't know. Because the contractions alone for me were enough. But I mean, in the end, you get a sweet little baby. And it's all completely worth it. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.